All right, all right.
Hey
This
guys,
is
how's it going?
the Gentleman Hour.
The Gentleman Hour.
And
you're watching Me Too right now.
This isn't Me Too. This is the Gentleman Hour. You're at the right place, not at the right
Not
time.
the right time. We're a touch late.
We're experimenting a little
We
bit.
had a little bit of technical difficulties, unfortunately.
We did have technical difficulties, but we are live now. This is the Gentleman Hour. You're not at the wrong place. This isn't Me Too. This is definitely not BuzzFeed. This is none of that.
Cholos try American food.
Although I did bring
It's true.
rompope. I had this sitting in my fridge for about maybe
Probably since the holidays, no?
maybe 2 years. Maybe.
No bullshit, really?
I'm serious, 2 years.
Oh my
It's
God.
been in my fridge for
We're
about.
gonna drink this?
And
No.
we've been like sipping
no.
on this rompope for quite some time.
Oh.
And I was like, I
halfway
need
through, I'm just gonna right into the table.
every episode I ask someone to bring like beer,
Yeah,
something to kind of
sure.
share around.
Sure.
And I didn't ask anybody. I didn't bring any beer myself, so I was like, all right, I got some kind of alcoholic beverage because here at the Gentleman Hour, we're all alcoholics.
We're lit all the time. It affects our home and social lives. All our loved ones have abandoned us.
Oh my gosh. I think I got one meeting at one of those. Hey, I'm sorry.
I just put a coin on the table, my chip, my 12-month chip.
Jeez. All right. Well, this is called a totonili, and it's almond. It's an almond-based rompope. For those of you who do not know what rompope is, it's like eggnog.
Yeah,
That's what I've heard. It's like eggnog.
Similar like eggnog, I would imagine.
It's from goat milk, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's goat
All right.
milk.
All right.
And this one, I bought it in Celaya a few years ago. So, also shouts to my parents who are in Celaya right now.
Shouts.
I think they're in Celaya. Hi, parents.
Hello, Mel's parents.
And I just thought we could drink this at least. I put some milk on this, and it's pretty good. What do you think?
Do you want to try it right now?
Yeah, sure.
So
Clink. And
no, it's good.
what do you think?
No, it's good. It's very eggnoggy, but I
Yeah?
think it's better than eggnog personally. I'm not a big fan of eggnog, but I would
I've
drink
never
this.
had
This
it.
is
I've
pretty
never
good.
had eggnog.
It's about as eggy as you would imagine.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. I'd rather drink horchata than eggnog personally.
I don't like rum chata either. Actually,
No? Really? Not a fan?
It's like too sweet. It doesn't really taste like. It tastes like horchata a little bit, but it's way too sweet.
Sure.
Anywho, we just read something on the news, right? Well,
Yeah. So
I don't know how. Well,
our boy Trump.
our boy, our
Hashtag
homeboy.
not my president.
Well, what was it?
Our homie from back in the day, from the streets, when we grew up in the streets together.
What did you just read
Yeah,
to me?
well, apparently Trump has blocked the New York Times, CNN, and Politico from his press briefings, which is like unheard of. That's like a horrible infringement of the First Amendment, and he's literally basically trying to handpick who gets to come and listen to Sean Spicer lie to them, basically.
Oh shit!
And it's a huge deal because potentially, that's the start of infringing on more and more First Amendment rights, and that's like a silencing of the media, basically. And he's trying to work it into a way where he can have people that won't disagree with his policies be in the White House briefings, which is like terrible for us.
Well, what's the excuse for that though? What?
I don't know. I mean, the story is still breaking, but from what I read, he was basing it on this whole idea of fake news that he keeps trying to get people to to jump in on, which is unfortunate. But yeah, no, that's scary. It's fairly scary. Like that's kind of terrifying to a certain extent. Not to be like extremist, but
Yeah. Well, speaking of fake news, what do you think of just that fake news? There's a lot of people. Well, I've seen people post on Facebook from both the left and the right talking about this. We don't really talk about politics, but Trump is such an asshole that how could you not?
Audience, to be honest.
How could you not? But I've heard from the left and the right people who are talking about fake news. What are your thoughts on fake news?
I mean, I think
This is the existentialist, by the way.
Oh, you're watching the Extensions. He's Miguel Gomez. I'm the other guy whose name I don't know. I'm sorry. Shouts to Miguel Gomez.
Shouts to Miguel. Shouts to Miguel.
I don't know. I think this idea of like fake news is terrible, right? Because when you start throwing around terms like, you can say things like news based on ill sources, like not based on proper sources, right? Or you can say things about news that hasn't been verified by multiple sources or by facts, right?
Yeah.
But when you start throwing around this idea of fake news, just to say that you don't like news that's being printed about you, I think that's very dangerous, right? John Oliver had this great segment last Sunday on fake news, where he basically talked about this idea that Trump says something. He says something is fake news. His supporters then hear Trump talk about it being fake news, right? CNN reports on Trump saying it's fake news, and they see the CNN article about it being fake news, and they agree with the CNN article, right? They don't understand that the article that's just reporting about what Trump said is not verifying what he said, right? So they get this terrible idea of well, I heard it in the media, and Trump heard it from them, and they heard it in the media because Trump heard it. It's basically a circle of people lying to each other, right? Jesus. And it validates the person that you're talking to about it, because the person who hears it first then gets it validated by someone who's just talking about it, not talking about it being true, right? So it's terrible. I mean, it's great in that it's causing a resurgence in like journalism, and people are pouring money into a media that was dying, right? But at the same time, like, for us to have to do that to try and like keep up the integrity of what journalism is like scary and terrifying, and so on and so forth.
There was this claim that there was a lot of these fake news things or articles being popping up on Facebook during the campaigns, during like when I think there were some like fake stories, or some like stories that were like bogus from like bogus like websites, and they're kind of like they're kind of just like, I think, robots. It's like automated articles.
It's like clickbait, more or less.
I always thought it was like automated articles, but I think those are easy to catch. But I don't know if there's like a new algorithm, or if there's I don't know if it's robots or what it is that's like typing out these like articles. But one of the points that I like is that there's journalists who have experience, who are like established journalists, who are writing these articles, who are part of these established media agencies. And so to me, when I just this whole idea of fake news is just like, I don't know, like it kind of like pisses me off, because I trust a lot of these people who are educated, who went through the whole experience of being a journalist, who, for those of people who are journalists, know how hard it is to be a journalist, know how hard it is to get to that point, to like be in front of to write for a cover page, to write an article in any of these newspapers. So I'm not saying that there's like not some yellow journalism in some places, but I do think that this whole fake news is kind of getting out of hand, and we need to trust again. We need to find that trust again with our media. We need to find that trust. So I think it's just kind of like a very, very hard topic to.
Well, how do you think that we reestablish the trust with? What do you think? I mean, it's a very complicated question. I don't mean to put you on the spot. We obviously just started talking about this because this news story just popped up. Yeah. But I'm curious if you have, like, I mean, I have one or two ideas about how we can trust people. I'm curious what your thoughts might be about
how to trust. I don't know. I honestly, let me think about it. What are your ideas?
I don't know. I feel like having multiple verifiable sources is important, right? Like making sure that if you do see an article, that it's verified by other major news outlets, right? I think that a lot of it is transparency. I think that a lot of news organizations have to show us where their money is coming from. Yeah. Because if a certain eccentric millionaire owns a news source, and he's telling them, only write about things that I like. Let's say it's an oil tycoon, just for the sake of an example, and he's saying don't print anything negative about pipeline spills, or don't print anything negative, right? Like. And I don't know, maybe that means that news organizations need to be publicly funded, or I don't know if that means that the government has to fund news organizations. But then you get into the trouble of, are they will they report responsibly about things that happen in the government, right? Yeah. Like, if there's a government scandal, will a major news outlet pick it up, and will they actually talk about this thing that's potentially going to cut off money from themselves, right? It's very hard. It's in the same way that senators have to be in the same way that some senators are get money for their campaigns to re-campaign,
Yeah.
they have to stay loyal to those people.
Sure.
Is the same thing that is tough for newspapers because potentially, I don't know. So I don't know if that means that newspapers have to be publicly funded or if, I don't know. I think that transparency is important though. I think seeing where the money's coming from is very much important.
What is one of the news agencies, or where do you get your news from?
What do I trust? I trust NPR mainly. I go to NPR. I do a lot of Snopes research. Like when I see an article, I try and go to Snopes, which is an anti-fake news website. It's been a verification website for a while. If you ever see something like, Trump blows up small village in Montana or something that you think is pretty sure you're fake, but you want to make sure Snopes is a good place to go because Snopes is an independent website that's only goal is to verify news or not.
So you can be selective then. You're able to be selective because you've already had like a report with that agency like Snopes and NPR. In a little bit, we're going to talk about just the music industry. How is it if it's hard to be selective with the music industry right now? Now that there's just all these
different ways to get music.
million different ways to get music. This was something I spoke to one of the bands that's going to be on this Sunday's Cafecito series, Serenum. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Stick around because this is the Gentleman Hour. We're talking about all kinds of things. We got a little bit political right now. I think it's just it's the right thing to talk about right now. All this crazy stuff is going on, and don't go anywhere. Memo Duarte.
Stay tuned. Mike Goebel.
Don't go anywhere.
Who cares what it does? Since you broke my heart. Who loves the sun? Who cares that it makes plants grow? Who cares what it does? Since you broke my heart. Who loves the sun? Who cares that it is shining? Who cares what it does since you broke my heart? Who loves the sun? Not everyone. Who loves the sun? Not everyone. my heart. Promises I made you break them. You out of the word. I felt it all so strong. You were so wrong, so wrong. Try to keep strong. Whirlwinds of trouble now. Who cares? Who cares? Suddenly not you.
All right, we're back. We're back at the Gentleman Hour. A quick break. We got a quick break. We're just talking about the music, right? How do you find how do you find your music goes? Do you have to like scroll through all SoundCloud and
yeah? I mean, there are a few different sources. I normally do like Tiny Desk concert stuff. I read articles. I try and keep my fingers on the heartbeat of the hip hop industry. Ciphers. I watch Sway in the Morning. YouTube clips, so on and so forth.
What is it that Kanye said to Sway that one time?
It's like, how, Sway? How?
That's
you
right.
ain't got the answer,
You
Sway.
ain't got the answer.
You ain't got the answer, Sway. We don't even know the name of your clothing line.
Yeah, that was bogus.
I mean, he went off on him pretty hard, to be honest.
How do you feel about that?
Well, Kanye's Kanye. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'm done doing my defending of Kanye. I think he's a great musician, but I mean, he can have some asshole moments. I think he's allowed.
I think he's a dick.
Yeah, well.
You love him.
I do love him. I think he's I think he's one of the premier.
He's an asshole.
Leading hip hop artists and a true artist of our generation.
Yeah.
I think he's the Beatles of our time.
Oh my gosh.
Fight me.
I think he's a good musician. He's just a big asshole. Real cocky.
So a lot of artists.
Real
are
cocky.
Yeah, so what? A lot of artists. Yeah, a lot of artists. Frank Sinatra beat the shit out of his wife almost every other night. Like, yeah, how many people know that?
That's fucked up.
Frank Sinatra was a piece of shit too. Heads up, old blue eyes, fucking scumbag.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But we were talking about the background
Michael, all the allegations against Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's one of the best pop artists of all time.
That's true. So I guess the message here is if you really want to
you can be a great artist.
If you really want to make it out as a musician, you just have to be a real piece of shit.
Shit bag.
Well, I was asking you initially, where do you find your music? Because it's like I feel it's super hard to find out about good musicians nowadays. What do you think about that?
To find good musicians? No, I think that there's a plethora of. I think we're in an age where there's more music available to the consumer than ever. I really think so, because everyone can put a mixtape out, or everyone can put out an EP or a band album on SoundCloud or on Mixcloud or on MySpace or whatever, and they all can put their content into the world, and it's just a matter of you finding it, right? And like. I'm trying to think of like a niche band that I really enjoy that maybe someone else might not enjoy, but I don't know. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I know that there are definitely. Frank Sono can attest to this. These are Frank Sono's boys.
Frank Sono, our producer.
Frank Sono, our producer.
Yeah.
Shoutouts. What were their names from? I thought they were from DePaul, but they ended up being from UIC. What's the rapper duo's name?
I don't know.
Palmer Squares, yes. Okay, so the Palmer Squares, right, are a pop duo from Chicago.
By the way, shouts to Leo Lauretti.
Oh, DJ Leo.
DJ Leo from Brazil. Shouts to our buddy.
It's like probably 8 a.m. in the morning over there right now.
It's 4 hours. 4 hours.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
South America's not that bad. I know Colombia was only like 2 hours ahead or behind of Chicago. I can't remember exactly, but the Palmer Squares are a good example, right? Palmer Squares put out a mixtape. I found it through somehow either Charlie Heyer knew them or Charlie Heyer had interviewed them or someone.
Charlie Heyer is another
friend of the
journalist.
Radio station. Good journalist, world traveler,
all
around great person.
Yeah, she's alright.
Bogus. She's watching right now, so we'll see.
I'm kidding. I love you, Charlie Heyer.
somehow I had heard about these people. So I listened to their mixtape. I really enjoyed it, but it's not something that someone outside of Chicago would even know, right? It's not it's not something that someone in LA would find or someone in Florida would find. So I think that there's a lot of music out there. I think it's important to find what you like, and it's also important to I don't know, to search around, to find different outlets for music, and to try and find things that really cater to you. Like there's so much specialization in music now.
I think now it's just more of a responsibility for the consumer to start looking for those artists, those musicians that they truly like. I think one of the bigger ones is like SoundCloud. Spotify is I like Spotify because it kind of gives you like it gives you different genres, it gives you recommendations. I know a lot of our friends use Spotify too. You use Tidal as well?
I do. I'm a fan of Tidal. I like to, I don't know, even if it's not going directly to Jay-Z, and even though Jay-Z has more than enough money, don't get me wrong, like, he doesn't need any more money. Well, maybe he does with the new kid on the way, but...
Oh, snap. That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Congrats to pregnant. Yeah, we had that whole Grammy conversation last week where you were like, I hate Beyonce. I don't like pregnant women, and pregnant women should stay in the kitchen. And I was like, Memo, dude, chill. I was like, Memo, don't say all these things. These are very terrible things to say. No,
I did not say that.
He did not. For the record, he did not. You can go back and check the tape. He did not say these things. But no, I like the idea, at least, of giving my money to a self-starter artist who came up through the ranks of rap and started the streaming service, as opposed to like a faceless conglomerate that owns Spotify, right? By the way, Spotify, if you want to sponsor us, we will stop bad-mouthing your company.
Wait, I've said nothing but good things about Spotify. So give me
all that Beyonce stuff too. So I don't know.
Spotify. We're waiting for that $10 million check because
we need a better table. We need a better pizza. We need better. We need more rompope.
We need more rompope.
All of these things, all right?
By the way, I bought this is from Oaxaca.
Is it from Mexico? This is very nice, actually.
No one's mentioned anything about this nice little.
It could use more color. I mean,
it's a nice.
I'm just. Sorry. I've been negative today all day.
So we changed the format. Let us know.
We're gonna talk about this.
Let us know. I really want to know. I really want to know. What do you think of this format? Last week we were very relaxed. I think it was a little bit more distant. But my thing was like I wanted to bring you guys closer to us and see Michael Goebel's beautiful beard, and just make sure that you're able to see him because he's a beautiful creature.
Okay. Something just happened. It just shut down.
Okay.
You guys can keep on talking. They can still hear you guys.
Oh, they could hear us.
Great.
Oh, okay. So we're still live.
Technical difficulties continue. This is only our third episode, guys. We're still working the kinks out. So feel free to watch this blank screen, which is probably more preferable than our faces. I don't know.
I think people are really attracted to that beautiful beard.
I think I broke the camera when you started talking
about
my beard.
Maybe.
And then the camera was like, I just can't handle it.
Yeah, that's true. This whole time we were supposed to start at 2, but because of technical difficulties,
Well, we were trying out a new camera, to be completely frank. To be completely honest, we were trying out a new camera. So obviously we couldn't get some of the difficulties worked out between the camera and the Facebook live stream. But we went live half an hour later, and now we're back on.
Hey, Frank Sono. All right, I think they could see us. No.
Yeah, they could.
Hey.
Yeah.
Look at
all right.
shiny faces again. Okay.
All right.
There you go.
Cool.
Okay, great. Anyway, so like you were saying, you enjoy Spotify. I enjoy Tidal.
I do enjoy Spotify. Yeah. I don't pay for it though. I just do the free.
You do the free one. Yeah. I pay for my Tidal. It's alright. I don't mind it. I think $10 is not that bad.
Yeah.
$10 a month.
I think free.
Same as like a Netflix or same as like a Hulu. Which I do both of.
I think free is ideal though. That's my thing. I really like the free stuff.
I don't know. I like having to download stuff. I like to be able to do stuff offline. I like to be able to keep albums in my bank. Like I don't know. I enjoy some of the benefits of doing the streaming as opposed to or doing pay instead of free.
Speaking of which, you sent me a link yesterday about albums not being there's this question about albums even being the right marketing tool.
Relevant, yeah.
Or relevant? Is that what?
So this conversation sprang from two things that recently happened to me. One, I had a conversation with the wonderful, beautiful Jocelyn Marie, who some of you may know, who is dropping an album today named Karma. you guys should definitely check it out. Maybe we can try and get a hyperlink to the download or the Bandcamp. But I interviewed her for Cafecito Sessions. That one will probably be going up soon, probably next week after Memo does his band on Sunday. And we had this conversation about whether it's worth it to put out albums or EPs or projects anymore.
Okay.
And she was arguing that you should only really just keep releasing singles to stay relevant, right? Which I personally have a huge problem with. Which I talked her. I don't want to say I talked her out of it, but I gave her a strong sell on as why she should make a project, right? The whole thing being, the argument being that singles keep you relevant. If you're constantly putting out content, people will constantly be checking you out or doing this or doing that, doing this.
Okay.
Which from a marketing aspect, I could get, I could understand. But to me, you need to put out a body of work so that people can see your growth as an artist, right?
Okay.
Especially in the early days, right? I think if you're a Drake, yeah, you can release singles all day and it's going to get radio play and people are going to be banging in your car, right? But as an artist, I feel like you need to create bodies of work or timestamps or just timestamps on a timeline that can show your growth as an artist, right? So theoretically, someone can, if you were to make it big or if you were to have a national following, people can point to a milestone and be like, this was this album, this person was going through these things, they had this state of mind, their style wasn't fully formed yet.
Sure.
And then you can release more singles or you can do more concerts, and then you have another timestamp where you do, their next album. Like, I'm trying to think of like the Beatles. The Beatles are a good example if you want to talk about the Beatles. Beatles are a universal example, right? They came out with their first album. It was very, very much like boy bandish, right? It was still in the vein of like with the crew cuts and the, she loves you, right? And then eventually they get to Sgt. Pepper's, right? Which is a huge departure from what they normally do, right? It's a psychedelic album where they were spending time in India. They were talking to new influences. They were taking psychedelic drugs. And they were opening their minds and expanding their musical careers, and you can see the growth from point A to point B. Right? Okay. So my argument would be that you need albums to, one, garner interest in a project that people can get excited about, and two, to show how you are growing and what your mindset is in a certain period of time. You can speak on this too, but the second part of this part was that Jay Electronica, who was a hip hop artist who I really enjoy and really find to be possibly the best rapper out there if he would put something out.
Also super cocky.
Very cocky. He can be very cocky. He came out with an article or statement that was very much similar in that he was like, people have been telling stories for a long time and people are doing, music will always be music and you can create music without making albums. Albums are a construct of the music business, right? And I don't necessarily agree with this because I think he's full of shit just because I think that he doesn't want to put an album out because he can't because he's scared, right?
Or he's lazy.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing though. Yeah. That's a whole nother argument. But the first argument I still think stands in that you should create albums to make timestamps. But I don't know what your thoughts are about the subject.
I think there's a lot of musicians who are kind of limited in resources. So for people who put out the singles, I can understand why they put singles because maybe their resources is maybe time as a resource. They have multiple jobs, so it's not their full life to make music. I think those are two things that are really important, is like just having the time to make the music. I recently, the band that we'll feature for this Sunday's Cafecito, they released an entire album, and they were kind of like telling me like, man, I don't know if this was the right thing, the right move. We put all of our energy. We spent a whole year just working and mastering and doing this, that, and right now we're just like kind of trying to get people to listen to, something that we worked on for such a long time. We put all of our energy. Now people don't even acknowledge it because I don't know, maybe. I don't know. They don't have, perhaps they don't have that fan base yet.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think that's where it becomes kind of like the struggle for these musicians.
Well, I mean, I'm excited to watch this Cafecito because I hadn't even heard of this band.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
And people may think that like me and Memo are like super close, or that we like sleep in bunk beds or something. That we're just constantly talking about RG and how we want to grow the brand and so on and so forth. But we do things independent of each other. So I didn't even know of this band, and I had not even heard about this Cafecito session. I found out from Instagram the same as everybody else. So I'm really excited to watch it, to be honest.
Yeah, they're really cool guys. Two dudes. One's from Guanajuato, the other one's from Guadalajara, and they've been hustling to make their music. They did just what we were just talking about, like working on one project, working on one album, and releasing it all at one time. And we had this whole conversation. So watch it this Sunday on their struggle and their eagerness to be out on a stage. I think that was one of the main highlights as well. But you'll watch that whole video on Sunday, so I won't give out too much of that. In a little bit, we'll talk about some of the other things that happened recently. There was a CloudFlare. I don't know if you heard of this.
Yeah, no, I hadn't heard. You were telling me a little bit about this, but I hadn't heard about it.
There's this big hosting site that has got like a bug and releasing a lot of information, like passwords and all kinds of crazy stuff. So potentially Goebel's passwords are out there.
Yeah.
Look for them because
people have access to all my
Bang Bros accounts.
I wasn't gonna go that dirty. I was gonna make something more self-embarrassing. I was gonna say something like my videos of me dancing to Justin Bieber songs or something. But you had to go all the way to the other spectrum. You're like, Goebel's hardcore porn accounts. Jesus Christ.
Stick around.
I change those weekly.
Oh, okay.
No, stick around.
Stick around. This is the Gentleman Hour.
Watching the Gentleman Hour.
Couple shots from the bar, stagger home at night. I called your cell number when I slurred, you were so polite. I love your voice, but it feels so far away. I turned my ass around and found which way to walk today. Stumbled to your doorstep, it's raining, you would let me in. I said I wanna marry you, you stuttered like let's be friends. You're drunk, I'm not. I said I was, though rejection was as fun as getting bellied by a snub nose. Uh-oh, another stain on the glass, like I need another friend, that's a pain in the ass. But I ain't really mad, I'm drunk as hell and on your couch now. My head is on your thigh, I'm thinking about passing out now. You're still there, I'm impaired, you've been there, you know me, you love me, cause I'm gone and I'll see you later. I've gone away. I checked in, I checked out, I'm moving, I recognize like Uzi, Alushi. Now I'm gone and I'll see you later, but not today.
And why am I just sitting in the dark room? Your words can paint a picture like it's cartoons. And I'm the punchline, and when it comes to crunch time, semester one will start soon. The pain doubles, hungover and foggy. And when I try to come over, it's probably kinda awkward, but the halo hung over is awfully suspicious. I'm off, she done did it to cross me, but fuck it. She don't wanna talk about it. She don't wanna talk about it. I can't run through with a dance, the sun's brutal, my chances all gone, the situation's all wrong.
I wake up, you're still there, I'm impaired, you've been there, you know me, you love me, cause I'm gone and I'll see you later. I've gone away. I checked in, I checked out, I'm moving, I recognize like Uzi, Alushi. Now I'm gone and I'll see you later, but not today. My head splitting, wide open, and it's from sipping my potion. And life tends to kick divine motions. I feel my inner mind's hopeless. Nucleosis, I am one, I am mono, I am the solitude. I couldn't even write a rhyme or fucking swallow food. And bitch, you had the fucking nerve to say that I didn't try. You scaled my whole world back, I would've died by your side. I'm not a violent guy, but shit, I threw a chair or two, knife edge to the chest. Now why you going Ric Flair, dude? My head's still splitting, wide open, and it's from sipping my potion. I wake up, you're still there, I'm impaired, you've been there, you know me, you love me, cause I'm gone and I'll see you later. I've gone away. I checked in, I checked out, I'm moving, I recognize like Uzi, Alushi. Now I'm gone and I'll see you later, but not today.
Setting the parameters. That's really the hard part. Are you talking about a video game? Taco, what are you doing? Homework. Then why don't you do it at home?
It's not cool.
You can do my homework too if you want, huh?
Your hands are upside down.
Eh? Oh. You should play baseball too, Taku. Why do you always carry around a bat?
Y regresamos aquí a la hora del caballero con Miguel Gobel y Memo Duarte. Este día ha sido un día muy, no sé, como que... Importante. Mi compañero aquí, Miguel Gobel, me estaba comentando... I'm kidding. Imagine.
Good, because my Spanish is about to run out. I was like, oh, Memo's going to speed up. I'm not going to be able to keep playing along.
We should call this...
My Spanish is decent, but it's...
We should call this the Mexican and the Irishman.
Oh.
At 2 p.m. Fridays, or 2:30.
We just described an Irishman and a Mexican on a couch in Cicero at 2 p.m. every Friday.
Yeah.
While Frank Soto watches.
You know, how would you describe the show? I had the water meter guy came over today, and he's like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" Yeah, we had a yeah. He's like, "What are you guys doing?"
I don't know why I find that so funny.
Oh, it's gonna get funnier. He's like, "What are you guys doing?" There's a camera and a couch, and I was like, "Oh, it's you know, we have a show. It's just me and this other guy on a couch." And then I was like, I looked at Frank, and I was like, "Wait a second, this might sound a little weird."
That's so funny.
And
I really wish the water guy would have been like, "Do you want to interview me? I have a really interesting life."
It's funny because he actually has a band.
Does he really? That's really funny. Actually,
he has a band. He's got 2 bands. It's one of them's called Crystal Soul.
Okay.
And I forgot the other one. But yeah, he's got 2 bands, and he was telling me about, you know, his
giving you the hard sell. He's like, no, we should play the show, man. Rock and roll, man.
Cool guy.
I'm sure he was a great guy. I don't mean to make fun of him, but I just find it funny that he came in and he was like, "What's going on here?"
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how to explain it. You know, I don't know how to explain it. Like, all right, we have this weekly broadcast, which is thanks to all you guys for watching. Thanks.
No, thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah,
we appreciate you.
Yeah. I don't know what we would do without you, and I told myself I wouldn't get emotional.
Just fake tears. Frank comes over and sprays your face with water, so it looks like you've been crying.
And then I look to the side, and I don't know if you're familiar with La Rosa de Guadalupe.
No, I mean, if it's a telenovela, I'm sure I can.
Okay, so there's this like
what's happening. But.
There's like this like super cheesy like moment where a miracle's supposed to happen.
Okay.
And then there's like wind blowing in their face, and then all of a sudden a white rose just appears randomly, and it's
funny.
Just like so super cheesy. Well, anyway.
Can I tell you my favorite telenovela story?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So this is shouts to Juan Valencia, my good friend Fat Joe, who many of you know.
Fatty.
But shouts to Fatty. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
That horrible 9-car pileup on the 94 when he was driving for Uber, pouring out from Wyoming. So his mom loves novelas, especially Colombian ones. I think that they pay extra money to get.
Oh really?
To get telenovelas from Colombia on their cable, right?
Okay.
And he told me this story. This is 100% true story. I'm not making any of this up.
Okay.
That he came home one day and his mom was so worried about the woman on the telenovela that she was in front of the TV crying, praying, just ayúdala, Dios, ayúdala. She's like doing the rosary, screaming at this TV like, oh no, ayúdala, Dios. And Pedro just looked at her and was like, Jesus. I just went to his room.
Wow.
People really get into them.
Speaking of which, if you were a character in a telenovela, what would your name be, Mike? Yeah.
Mine, I would love to play the priest, the evil priest in a telenovela.
Oh my god.
I think that would be incredibly awesome. Although I'd probably get typecast as the evil American, to be completely honest. I think if we're going to be completely honest, I would be the asshole coming down from America.
You know,
trying to like buy their land or something, or cheat the family out of the ranch, you know.
What would your name be? Your telenovela name?
I don't know.
You said all right. So you said you're evil and a priest.
I'm definitely evil. I think
Okay.
I'd have to be evil. I'd be an evil American.
How
just rubbing my hands constantly. I don't know. I'm not familiar enough. I would have to have. Would I have an American name though, or would I have a Spanish name?
Spanish name. Yeah, Spanish name.
Man. What do you call him, Pedro? Or how do you call priests in Spanish? Pedro.
Padre.
Padre. Man, it'd probably be like I can't even think of anything.
Your line would be "Vaya con Dios."
Stupid, like King of the Hill. Stupid. No, I would not be the avenging priest from.
That was actually a badass priest.
No, it was like if you piece together all the clips of that show from the show, it's like seems like a really good telenovela. He's just a father who comes and shoots people with like magnums. Crazy.
Vaya con Dios.
Dios.
I could see you as being like Juan Martín de la Muerte. Ooh, there you
It's
go.
funny because I was trying to think of something about that. I was like,
De la
I should
Muerte.
probably
Juan Martín de la Muerte. What do you guys think Gobo should be named? If you guys comment below.
My name would be.
El Gobo. Oh, actually,
El Gobo? El Señor Gobo. That would be my name.
El Irlandés Pendejo. I'm kidding.
You're a son of a bitch. That was you getting me back for those Beyonce comments.
Yeah, really. People, I'm gonna get like a bunch of emails like, what the?
It's a bunch of hate mail.
Yeah, hate mail. People
I
are still
can't
writing
believe
letters.
You were talking about Bay. Bay is queen.
Bay is queen. Bay is
You're
queen.
machismo.
Oh shit! I probably will get
Shots.
that. I've gotten that
Shots
before
fired.
for some reason.
Shots fired. Really?
Yeah, it's
Really?
weird.
Well,
Maybe because we're called rude
That's
gents.
what I was gonna say. Do you think it's because of the name? Rude
I think it's
Gents?
because of the name rude gents.
People just like see it and they just make assumptions about what.
That's
we do and what
exactly.
we are.
That's exactly.
We're like a pretty positive community force. Like to be honest, like
Yeah.
you do a bunch of church work with like kids, and like people are like, nah, fuck that guy.
On the side,
Memo's a dick.
on the side, I'm drug dealing and just.
Well, how do you think you support those kids? Dude?
That's exactly.
You gotta buy basketball somehow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Y'all think basketballs grow on trees?
Stupid. You're terrible, dude. You're terrible.
Drug money.
Drug. Okay. So, anywho, how do we start talking about telenovelas? How do we get to anybody?
Sorry. A friend of ours, Juan Rodriguez, shouts to Juan Rodriguez, just suggested that I should be the guy who's in a trench coat who somehow build suspense for future storylines, but they never explain my character. That I'm always just kind of watching what's going on, and then I'm never revealed to be the person. Whoever. That's a pretty good one. I had a conversation with Juan where I explained what Lost was, Lost the TV show.
Oh, okay.
And I told him that the best example of it was that like you would be watching an episode and someone who you think is a main character would someone walk up and shoot him and scratch his name off a list and disappear, but that person will never get explained. Like they'll just kill somebody for no reason, and then someone will just be nodding in the distance like yes, and then that person never gets explained. Fuck Lost. Lost was.
I never
I'm
liked
so
it.
Disappointed. I'm disappointed.
I never watched it. In fact,
They didn't know how to end the show. They built up all the suspense and then they didn't know how to tie everything together.
I didn't watch it. I didn't care for it.
Shots at Lost. That's right. It's the Root Gents versus Lost beef. You heard it here first. We're starting a rap beef.
Speaking of, I don't know. I wanted to change the topic. I wanted to ask you, Goebel, have you ever been bullied?
Have I ever been bullied? I don't. It's weird. Growing up mainly in predominantly Hispanic Cicero, I feel like being a white person, you either get bullied or you like become a class clown type who like tries to be really cool with everybody, right? I definitely think that there are people who tried to bully me when I was younger, and I only think I've ever really been in like one or two fights my whole life.
Really?
Like actual fights,
Like
fights
fist fight.
like fist fights, yeah.
You have your little shank on the side.
Jeez, no. It's my Wolverine claws from the glove. No, yeah. So I think I've only really been in one or two fights that were like somebody was trying to like pick on me or talk shit to me or something, and I like fought them. And basically we would fight and hashtag humble brag, I would win. But yeah, I don't know. Like being a white kid, it was kind of an easy target. Like I was kind of like, oh, let's go pick on the white kid. But instead of like just being upset about it, I kind of just rolled with it and like talked shit back and made jokes and was like.
You kind of have to make jokes out of it,
you
right?
have to adapt. You have to adapt, right? And like I basically made friends with a lot of people, and then I was also an only child, which I think is important to note because I think only children have a tendency to be more.
They're more prone.
And
I would think they were more prone to like bullying too for some reason. Like they were not.
I think it's the two extremes, right? I think that you become really outgoing and you try and be friendly with everybody, or you become really self-inflected, like self-involved, and then you are a target because you're a loner or you're a kid that's alone. You don't have brothers, sisters, whatever. Da, da, da. But I never really was bullied, to be honest. I think I basically kind of tried to be friends with everybody. I mean, have you ever been bullied? Or?
Well, the reason I ask is because like I always see like commercials. I saw a commercial earlier about like you have to avoid bullying or you have to prevent bullying. I think to a certain I did get bullied when I was a kid when I was in grade school, but I think that's something inevitable. Even when you're an adult, I think you still get some kind of bullying, maybe in the workplace or maybe with your friends. I mean, with your friends, definitely you're gonna get some kind of shit talking. But I think it's something that's inevitable, and I think some there's a lot of cases that are really strong and which are like terrible, where it's like, man, that's bullshit that kids go through those troubles. But I think there's preventative steps to that. But I think it's also something that is somewhat inevitable. I don't know. I did get bullied when I was a kid, and I actually whooped some ass too back in 6th grade. I used to have these Snapchat stories where I would talk about like the fights that I would get into. I only got into like 1 or 2 fights as well. Snapchat, I still love Snapchat, but Instagram is kind of taking over a little bit. Anyway, that's a whole different topic. But yeah, I got bullied just a little bit because I'm really thin. I was skinny. I was kind of short, and because of that, I had to get into 1 or 2 fights, and I beat some kid. I won't name him. But
name him.
Nah, I can't name him. He's still in town. I think.
Name tag him right now in the comments.
It was 6th grade. Those who were in Columbus East, well, maybe were part of that. Saw that Columbus East and Cicero. Tough times. Anywho, yeah. That's all I wanted to say. We're going to go into a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. Shout out to my cousin Andres. Shout out to Mark Cyrus, who said you should be called Sancho. Edgar Elio Diaz, shout out to you. And all you guys who are... the Mark Cyrus. Jonathan John Scott, DJ John Scott, Miguel Gomez, Chuch Reyes. Tell us what you guys think of this layout, this format. Before, if you scroll down a little bit on the Rude Gents, you'll see what the layout was before. If you like it, we'll stick to this. If you don't like it, we'll go back to what we were doing before. Tell us what you think. We'll be commenting below. All right? Don't go anywhere. This is the Gentleman Hour.
Who cares what it does? Since you broke my heart. Who loves the sun? Who cares that it makes plants grow? Who cares what it does? Since you broke my heart. Who shining. Who cares what it does since you broke my heart? Who loves the sun? Not everyone. Who loves the sun? Not everyone.
Welcome back to the Gentleman Hour.
Welcome back. This is news at 3:25, 27.
News breaks on
And
the 20s.
today we just found out that Michael Goebel, also known as El Barbie, was caught in the United States. No, I'm kidding. You guys know who El Barbie is, right? He's like a big...
He's like the white guy in the cartel. He's like the white guy.
I heard he's like from Texas or something.
He is from Texas. Yeah, I actually read a Rolling Stone story on him like a long time ago from Rolling Stone magazine. But yeah, they actually talked about El Barbie and that he's the guy who actually popularized narco polos, like wearing.
You should
polos.
wear those. I think, man.
Yeah.
Because I think one of them has an Irish flag on it.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that.
By the way, shouts to Jose, Jose, giving us a good idea. We might put those flags right here. Yeah. The Irish and Mexican flag. So I didn't know that. El Barbie. I was talking about the security. There's this website company called CloudFlare. I found this out by my buddy Horacio Acevedo, who is an excellent designer. He's a techie guy, and he posted this link talking about CloudFlare, which is like a hosting website, HTTPS website. And they basically had a bug in their service that leaked a bunch of private information like passwords, cookies, things that are personal. So like at the end of this Wired article, it said change your passwords like now.
now.
Do it now. What do you think about that, Gopes? Are you afraid of like you have so many accounts open that some of your basic information is gonna be leaked?
Am I actively afraid? No. Am I like worried about it a little bit? Yeah. I mean, I think everybody should be a little worried about your identity and your imprint online, right? Like, I mean, I feel like I changed my passwords enough that most of my important stuff is safe. Mm-hmm. But like, I mean, I don't know. That's always terrifying, right? Like we read all about these cyber attacks and like stuff happening with Russia and China and cyber.
Fake news, Global. Fake news.
I'm gonna throw back to that. It's so funny. China. This is my Trump impersonation. China.
Like
China.
this. We got to do this.
China.
It's funny. I'm actually starting to. I've been watching so many. I've watched so many Trump videos. It's amazing. It's.
Is it tremendous?
Is
it tremendous? It's gonna be amazing. You watch so
it's
many
the best.
Of them,
It's the best.
The best. It's the best.
I saw one where he's got like he does this gesture a lot. So they put like an accordion, like it's like a cartoon accordion. So it looks like he's playing an accordion. Yeah, it was really funny. It was
That's
really funny.
incredible. No, the which one did I watch? I watched one where I don't know. It was one similar to that. It was similar to that, but he's doing this stuff, and I forget what they did. But it was. I just remember watching it. It was pretty funny. No, I saw Did you see the Juan Gabriel shooting star meme that I put up?
No,
was
you
so
bastard!
Good. It was so good.
Wait, I can guess. What I can just
it's
imagine.
him falling, but then he falls into the shooting star. And the music plays. It's so good.
If you guys are not familiar, after this podcast, vlogcast, what do we call this? Broadcast? I don't know.
Yeah, man.
Broadcast.
TV show.
The
New
Gentleman
media.
Hour. New media. Check out Juan Gabriel falling. Rest in peace, by the way.
It's on my page, by the way. It's on my page.
It's
for the record.
it's on Goebel's page. By the way, rest in peace. He actually died.
Oh, he did actually die.
He actually passed away. Not from falling off the stage, but from from natural causes. Am I digging?
How
this?
are you gonna do that?
I'm sorry. I guess I got. By the way, shouts to Mark Cyrus. I don't know if I gave him a shout out. That's apparently his gesture.
This is my respect for Mark Cyrus.
Shouts to Martin Avila.
Shouts to Martin, childhood friend of mine.
Oh yeah.
He's the guy who, remember when we were hanging out with Daniel Martinez? And I was like, oh, my friend does vinyl spinning as well. That's the guy. It's Martin Avila. Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
we're waiting on your mixtape, or how would you say, sample mix, or
Mix,
We're
yeah.
waiting on your mix. We're waiting on your all vinyl mix. So
Cool.
We'll feature it here if you send it to us. So get on it.
By the way, if you guys are musicians, if you have or know someone who's a musician, local musician, send us your music so we can play it here on the Gentleman Hour
during our breaks.
During our breaks.
Looking for local artists. If you have a band or if you have a mixtape, you got some hot beats. You got the club bangers.
In fact, tag them right now. Just so you don't forget. Tag them, because we want you guys to send us.
We want music for our breaks.
We do our show.
We don't get hit by fines from the FCC.
I'm afraid every day I fear that men with tuxedos, I'm sorry, black suits will come in tuxedo. They're like going to a gala. They're going to a
coming from a gala. Like, oh, we have martini glasses, but we're here to shut you down.
They're wearing their suits.
Smoke really expensive cigars.
Come in and just kick our table off and our camera and
They boot me out of the frame.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen.
Constant fear.
Last week, or the first time we did this, we played a Kanye West "Jesus Walk" song, and the whole we got booted. Facebook started talking shit, and then I was like sad.
Mark Zuckerberg called.
He
was very
I got a
upset.
phone call from Mark Zuckerberg, and he's like, "What? Come on, Memo.
He's like, Memo, what are you doing, guy? I made this whole Facebook Live format specifically when you asked me to, and you're gonna do me like this?"
And I had to tell him, "I'm sorry, Mark Zuckerberg."
And he shot Memo in the knee.
And
Memo will never walk the same.
This has gone way too far. We're getting closer to the hour. We want to extend the show as much as possible, but before we go, what's your favorite place to get your haircut?
Tough. Well, I'm actually letting it grow right now. Also, please, feedback. If you guys think I look like a fool, let me know. Because normally I either have it faded or I grow my hair out. Right now I'm growing it out again.
He wants to have that man bun, right?
Well, no, I wanted it long for the rugby season, right? Like I'm playing rugby again, like we've mentioned before. Shouts to the Chicago West Side Condors. By the way, if you're interested in playing rugby, please hit me up. We are always looking for new people. You don't have to have ever played the sport before, and we are always looking for people to come out and to enjoy the game that I think is the greatest game ever made. But I digress. I wanted long hair for the rugby season. I wanted to I don't know. The last time that I was very good when we won the state championship, I had really long hair, so I'm trying to bring back some of that magic, and I'm trying to, superstition. I want to see what happens. But please, if people think I look like a fool, then let me know. But yeah, normally it depends. Normally I used to go to a barber who was a friend of mine. He's in the army right now. I don't think he wants people to know that he does hair anymore, so I won't necessarily name drop him. But that's who I used to go to when I would get cleaned up. I know that there are some shops in Pilsen I actually wanted to hit up Cristobal, shouts to Cristobal, about who he goes to for his hair care when he still had the long hair. Because I want to look for someone new who's like, basically can like help with men's long hair.
Oh, cool.
What about you? No, what about you?
Me?
Yeah.
I go to.
Where do you get this coif done? This nice.
I go to this real close to my house to this salon. Her name's Juanita. She gives an excellent haircut. The best. It's the best.
Stop. It's tremendous. It's the best
tremendous.
haircut. I only have the best scissors touch my hair.
And then I have another barber. His name is Nino. So he gives me a haircut from time to time. But I also, this last haircut I got it in Mexico. And,
that's right. So, no, can I tell you? Did I ever tell you about this?
No.
The best haircut I ever got was in friggin' Colombia.
Really?
I shit you not. When I went to Colombia last year, November, not the 2 years ago now, almost a year and a half ago, November. I went to Colombia through a language barrier. This woman cut my hair exquisitely. It's the best friggin' haircut.
Exquisitely.
It's the best friggin' haircut I've ever gotten in my life. If I could pay the $400 round trip to go to Colombia every time I get a haircut, I would fucking do it because it was awesome. She knew exactly what she was doing. I tipped her. I tipped her tremendously.
Tremendously. Comment, do it if you guys want Goble to leave right now and go get a haircut.
And fly to Colombia.
Here, I'm looking at the Orbitz prices right now.
No, I
comment,
actually,
do it. Just comment, do it.
We might be going back in July for rugby, so I've actually been looking at the prices to Colombia. They're about $480 right now, which is, I'm hoping it drops to below 400, but I might have missed that boat already. But we'll see. We'll find out. But anyways, I'm sorry. So your this Mexico trip where you got your haircut?
Yeah. So I went to Mexico for quite some time. My hair got really long, and I needed a haircut really bad. I kind of need one right now too. So
It's not that bad.
no, it looks. I think I agree. It kind of looks pretty good from what I'm seeing right now. But I got this haircut. I wasn't expecting the service that I was gonna get. I went into this place. It was this. I just looked on Facebook. You know, I was in Celaya, Guanajuato. Again, shouts to Celaya, Guanajuato. And I was looking on Facebook for a cool, barbershop, some place that. Because I'm picky with my haircuts. You need someone you can trust. You know, you usually create that rapport with someone who cuts your hair. Well, anywho, I went to this place that was highly recommended on Facebook. And when I arrived, I was like, they asked me, what kind of service do you need? I was like, nada más un corte, just a haircut. So I was waiting there. They gave me a bottle of water. It was like really nicely decorated. They had bottles of whiskey. They had like this really cool mural of like a mustache, and it was like it looked like a bar. It looked like a really cool bar. And when it was my turn to get a haircut, they like sit me down. And then they start washing my hair. I've never gotten my hair washed at a barber shop.
By another person, you mean?
Yeah, by another person. And not at a barber shop.
I've never washed my hair, ever. I just let the grease fall from my hair.
So they
used to call you Memo, the greasy Duarte.
So they start washing my hair, and then they start putting they put this towel over my face, like really warm towel, and then all of a sudden they started punching me. They just started punching. They didn't punch me. They put ice over the towel. I don't know why.
I've never heard about this. No.
So they put a towel. I was super legitimately scared because I was like, what the hell's going on? I only asked for a haircut. And so they were just going through this process that I wasn't familiar with. They were putting ice over my eyes, and then I was there for maybe 30 minutes with ice in my face, and I was just throughout the whole time I was scared for my life. The next moment they take off the towel, and I'm kind of a little bit claustrophobic, so I was kind of praying all right, when is this gonna end? I don't want to make a scene and just take off this towel in front of everyone and just walk out. So they take it off, and actually it felt really refreshing, really refreshing. I go into the seat, and they fix up the seat, and they start giving me this haircut, and I'm kind of still kind of scared because what's gonna happen next? They're gonna shave an eyebrow off, or are they gonna what are they gonna do? Well, they end up like shaving my, doing like the lineup to my beard.
Carve a cartel into your face. They're gonna give you a lineup, but it's like the Sinaloa cartel, just right here.
Yeah, that would not be cool. That would not be
cool.
You
wouldn't have enjoyed that?
Yeah, I would not like that.
Okay.
I don't
like to be a walking ad for the cartel.
No quiero. No.
No quiero.
No quiero. So yeah, at the end, like the dude just he gave me a really nice haircut. I called it the Ricky Martin haircut because it was like like there was like a cool poof going on. Anywho, they explained to me what kind of haircut I got because I usually never gotten my haircut explained. Like they're like, oh, I did a 1 here, I did a 3 here, I did like a little trim over here, I did this over there, and so I like that. I like that service, that they were descriptive on the service that I got, and I got a facial. Apparently that's what a facial is. I never knew that was a facial, and yeah, I was intrigued by it. I was like, all right, maybe when I come back to Celaya, I'll go back to this place because it was a good haircut, and it was all really really cheap.
Colombia was very
compared to here.
As well. Yeah, for sure.
Inexpensive,
For
and
sure.
so
No, for sure.
definitely I'll probably do the same every time I need a haircut. I'll
You're
go to
just
Mexico.
gonna go to Mexico? Yeah,
And,
you should. You should tell them about the cab ride that you and Kitty took.
Oh. All right, so I'll from time to time I'll share some stories from like when we went to Mexico. I was there for about a month, and we were in Guadalajara. We had just arrived to Guadalajara from a long trip from Guanajuato. So it's about 4 hours, I think. We arrived, and we needed a taxi or an Uber to get to our hostel. And so my girlfriend, she wanted to get there quick because we were carrying all this luggage. It was like, a big mess. I was comfortable using Uber, but the Uber, like, they don't go into the bus section. So we're like, all right, let's go get a taxi. So we're waiting for a taxi. There's a bunch of taxi guys already waiting. This guy who looked like really nice walks up to us. Is like, hey guys, you need a taxi? And we're like, yeah, let's go get a taxi. So we took this taxi guy. We trusted him, and we jump into his car. And as he's driving, this is like a 30-minute drive. He's like, oh, de donde son ustedes? Where are you guys from? And we always we're always telling that we're from like another city in Mexico, just because of trust. We don't want to give out too much information. Although I speak Spanish, I still have that gringo and that norte.
The frijolero.
No, it's not the frijolero accent. It's like the American accent.
Sure,
I still have like
gringo accent.
Yeah. So he starts like telling me like, oh, you're not from here. You're not from here. I can tell right away. And I only spoke like 1 or 2 words. And so, I was like, okay, he figured me out. Like, I'm not from around here. My girlfriend on the other end, she's from Jalisco, so she was able to kind of pull it off. Out of nowhere, this taxi driver starts talking to me about, his military service. I didn't bring it out. Me nor my girlfriend brought it up like that. He was, asked him about his career. He starts telling me about how, he's gone to some of the worst places in Mexico. How he's like killed people. How he's like had to like slaughter people. How he's had to yank guts from like he's yanked necks. He's had to like he's gotten threatened by like the cartel, and he whenever he gets a threat, like he just like goes berserk, and like he has to murder people basically. So we were sitting there with a serial killer basically, mass murder.
For the record, he's already told me this story. This is why I'm like, I know what's happening. I know what he's gonna say, but it's when I first heard the story, I was freaked. I was like, Jesus Christ.
So this guy's
shocked that he was telling me these things.
This guy's a mass murderer, and the whole time he's telling us the story about him like killing people and doing this and this and that. He's like looking at us like directly with his eyes. Like he was like looking at us. I don't know, like his eyes were like beady and like kind of just like almost still. Through the mirror, through the little mirror, and he was like making all these like graphic noises of how he like murdered people. He would go like I just grabbed this guy by the neck and like I was like, holy crap. At one point he grabbed like his seatbelt to make like the noise of a gun, like of him like grabbing his gun, and we were like, holy shit, this guy's like nuts. Anywho, we finally arrived to our hostel, and it was like maybe it was 30 minutes away, but that felt like 10 minutes. That felt like 10 minutes because his story, we weren't really afraid, but his story was like super intriguing.
Didn't he tell you something about like what would you do if you had a knife to your throat or something like that?
Yeah.
Like really fucked up question. Like,
yeah. So basically, he said that. What would you do? How would you react if someone like threatened your family and threatened this? You gotta kill him. Like he was like, he said in Spanish too. Like so, it was even more intense. But it was nuts. It was nuts. And I mean, at the end of the day, like this guy is a person, a human being.
Sure.
I think he was telling us about that he washes his hands from like the stuff that he did in the military, and that that he, the taxi stuff was kind of like his hobby. I think it's a way for him to kind of like suppress that stuff that happened to him and talk to somebody. Because I don't think he needs like the money. He was telling us that he had a pension and this and that. But it was definitely a crazy story, a crazy thing. I'm sure my mom will freak out if she hears this. When she sees this, she's like, "Pendejo, ya sabía." But yeah, it was crazy. We had a few things like that happen. But definitely an experience, nonetheless, an experience that I don't regret. Definitely. I mean, things like that happen, and it's part of the adventure. So, if you're ever in Guadalajara, just jump into random people's cars and
find that guy.
A
nicely dressed taxi driver who does not look like a murderer.
But it was definitely an experience, and it's part of the whole adventure. So, shouts to Felipe. Also, shouts to Goes. He's wearing the throwback socks jersey.
I love this jersey.
And what did you think of the? Before we leave, what did you think of the World Series?
Oh, I'm super hyped for them. I think this is great. Like, I'm not a person who is gonna be upset when Chicago wins something, even though it's the Cubs. I'm a pretty big Sox fan. I won't say diehard. I don't follow them as closely as I should be, but I do enjoy the Sox games. I go to Sox games. I do enjoy the Sox. I'm not one to start a shit-talking conversation with the Cubs fan, but I'm happy they won it, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, if they start talking shit to me, I will definitely talk shit back.
Yeah.
But no, I'm happy they won. Like, you know what, I was happy in 05, and I would hope that they would be happy for us in 05, and I'm glad that they won it now. It's 108 years. It's a big accomplishment. I think a lot of people in baseball were happy to see the Cubs win. It's like the ultimate underdog story. There are generations of families who have been waiting for a Cubs victory. A friend of mine told me a story about her. I'm gonna screw this up. I think it was her grandmother. Don't crucify me on this. I'm sorry. But I think it was her grandmother who passed. It was either her grandmother or one of her aunts who she passed away, and she had known that the Cubs were doing well. And so they had basically told her before she passed, hey, the Cubs won the World Series. And then she was like, oh, that's really awesome, that's really cool. And then she passed before they had actually won it. But like, I mean, I think those stories are really sweet, really touching, and like, I'm glad they won it. Just don't get cocky about it. Don't think you're hot shit all of a sudden. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, damn, I like the way you ended that.
I'm still a Sox fan. What do you want from me? What do you want? I'm still a Sox fan.
Cool. Let's see what else we got. Martin Avila, shouts to Martin. Send us your tracks, bro. Felipe, of course, we gave you a shout out. Like we said, we do this every week, every Friday. We try to do it at 2. So I actually specifically chose at 2 because I know people are like getting tired of work. They're starting to kind of doze off. They're like, fuck this. Fuck this. Let's see what the gentleman hour are talking about. So if you're at work, shouts to you. Thanks for watching.
You can also catch our episodes after they air. Feel free to look at our episode from last week. And then we have, like we were saying, we weren't joking about the FCC thing. Our first episode was taken down, unfortunately. But we do have a section of it that is clean of any of copyright infringement. So check that out. Check out last week's episode. Check us out next week, Friday. We're going to keep coming back to you live, hopefully at 2 every Friday. And send us music. If you want your music to be featured during the Gentleman Hour, send it to us. We don't know how many people we're going to get, but we'll try and air some of your stuff every week. Shouts to Frank Sono, our producer, who is doing the hardest work in the room right now. He is a beast. He's like an octopus. Rapper. He's got his Dr. Octopus 4 metallic arms on right now, working all these controls. Shouts to Chuch Reyes for letting us borrow this microphone. Shouts to this wonderful cover that Memo found in Mexico. Shouts to the company that makes Rompopo. I can't see the label, so I can't read it.
Rompope a Totonili. If you guys have a product out there you guys want to advertise, hit me up.
You should try. I love the Mexicans. You should try it. It's delicious.
Thanks for watching. I don't know if we have anything else to talk about.
No, I think
next week we'll have more, and if you guys want to send us any topics you guys want us to talk about, we'll definitely talk about them. Of course, send us your music. What else?
Check out the page. Check out rootjess.com where we have articles up right now for culture. Find Memo at his social media, which is
at Rudo Memo. At Rudo Memo. That's RUDO Memo. On Instagram, I think it's on Twitter as well.
I should really unify all my social medias. I'm all over the place. I have like Mike Goebel WF, Seventh Son Flanker,
Goebel de la Muerte,
El Pedro. How do you say Pedro?
El Padre.
El Padre. I keep screwing that up. El Padre del Muerte. You know, that's my Instagram. It's not my Instagram. No, but I'm on Twitter. I'm at Seventh Son Flanker. And on Instagram, I'm Mike Goebel _WF. On Snapchat, I'm at Seventh Son Flanker. But talk to us, interact with us. A bunch of you know us already. You can just come shoot the shit with us. But tune in next week. We'll have more stuff to talk about as always on the Gentleman Hour.
Tune in next week and also share anything that you like. If you want to share this broadcast, feel free to share. We appreciate all of that interaction, and of course, we try to give a shout out to everyone and talk to everyone on our Facebook. So, thanks for watching. This is the Gentleman Hour, and see you next week.
See you next week.
Sunday. I forgot. Sunday, we have a Cafecito Sessions. We're almost done with our first season. We've had about 6 musicians, and we're always looking to interview new artists, people from around town who are doing and hustling and doing their thing in music.
I want to expand too. I want to start looking for poets and people who do other artistic and cultural things too. So I got a few ideas in mind for season 2 about who we might start interviewing in terms of painters and poets. So stay tuned. That'll be exciting too.
This is the Mexican and the Irishman. The Gentleman Hour every Friday.